Good evening, boys and girls. Adam Shalafoo with the legendary Devin Fry, the director.
Legendary. I'll take it.
Depends who you ask, right?
Don't ask very many people. But otherwise, yes. Maybe ask my wife. Maybe.
I heard they're building a statue of you outside Mayville State football stadium.
No, that's not coming yet.
Okay. Yet.
It'll happen. It'll happen. No, I would say maybe my high school back home in Alaska, but it doesn't exist anymore. So they shut it down. So my options for getting a statue are starting to get pretty limited around here. But we'll get there. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do.
And it's kind of weird because, like, normally this time of year, I feel like it's the slow season, not this year.
Well, I mean, when we save everything for a weekly check-in, then it kind of tends to compile up. But for my daily shows, then it does become a little bit tough to find this stuff sometimes. But no, it's been a heck of a summer as far as baseball goes, and the baseball around here delivers every summer. I never have to worry about finding content this year.
I feel like this year has been one of the best baseball summers, dare I say.
Wow, that might be a hot take. I'm not sure, but
I mean, just like the Red Hawks have been. They're always good, but I feel like the storylines have been just so many.
We're also very deeply entrenched into them this year.
Yes,
so
yes.
It might just be us being we're not biased in any way. But, we're very in the trenches as far as the team goes.
But normally, you don't have that many pro baseball storylines, but between like Matt Strom,
so much fun stuff. Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
that's something.
That's another one.
And then
All-Star. We'll talk about him.
Yeah. and he's not the only one, folks.
Wow, you heard it here first.
I mean, technically the one. Well, we'll break it down.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But no, the FM Red Hawks are obviously going to be the big talk of the town around here. Their marathon continues to go on. This stretch of games. They're on their 18 game in a row stretch right before the All-Star break, and they have 6 games left still to be played in the next 5 days. They got a doubleheader on Friday against Kansas City, so it's a tough stretch of games for Fargo-Moorhead, but at the same time, they're doing fine. You know what I mean? You had Sam Dexter in here yesterday, which, by the way, watch that if you haven't had a chance to do that yet. It's on our Facebook page right now. Find the Valley News now.
Fun little interview.
But yeah, and then he made it very clear that these guys are professionals. They're here to play baseball, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
and they don't care how many games.
I really love that answer too, because I don't know. I mean, I feel like I would get tired, and I'm not a professional baseball player.
No, I guarantee I would be. I guarantee I would be. I'm tired watching that many games in a row.
Yeah,
and my physical activity is very minimal. I'm not swinging a bat or even running, or even jogging or catching.
Your
I'm not doing
eyes
anything.
My
eyes is just like this. And that's it. That's enough for me.
You're ready for sleep.
I am right now.
And that's why we watch, not play.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, the Red Hawks, if you need any proof that they were doing okay in this stretch, yesterday hanging up 10 runs on the Kane County Cougars.
Revenge game.
A revenge game for sure. And Kane County had hung up 10 runs in the series opener. So I mean, like, it's a dish best served cold, as the old saying goes. And so, how fun of a series is that, though, for fans at Newman Outdoor Field, that you get to go? if you're going, the winning team is hanging up double-digit runs, no matter which side you're on right now. So it's a fun environment at Newman Outdoor Field. And no, the Red Hawks are going to keep on getting better.
Yeah, I think so. We are kind of waiting for the ink to meet the paper, but Juan Fernandez is coming back. That's my source have informed me that it could be as soon as tonight.
Okay.
But Fernandez is coming back, and I believe off the top of my head, I don't have the stats in front of me, but batting .357 in what was a brief stint at the beginning of the year with the team. But you plug that guy back in, is a defender too.
Right.
And you just have a really, really good two-way baseball player that's going to be able to make a huge impact on both sides. So.
Right, and getting that guy back in the lineup is going to be massive, especially when they're currently still missing Dylan Thomas. He's out there. He's still making an impact. He's
Absolutely.
been one of the best first base coaches in the league over this last stretch here. But getting Juan Fernandez back in the lineup is going to be huge, just like getting Dylan Thomas back in the lineup is going to be huge. As they continue to get back to full strength, Davis Feldman, I think, is off through the rest of probably this first half of the season until the All-Star break's over at least. So as more as these guys keep coming, and this is what we've talked about since the beginning of the season with Chris Coast being able to manage the health of his players and keep these guys healthy and gearing up for the big push of the season. He knows exactly when they need to win games. And we're not going to be missing anybody in the lineup when they need to win games. The only time we saw that happen was when John Silviano had an actual broken leg.
And he tried to play through it.
He tried to play.
Literally tried to play
he probably
through it.
would have if he could. But these guys want to play baseball. They're in Fargo-Moorhead for a reason. They want to play the game, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they're getting more of the game than they could ever have possibly dreamed of by playing this many games in a row right now.
And I'd say another thing to keep an eye on is the adding of players this time of year. I believe August 1st is when the Mexican League playoffs start. And so if you don't make the playoffs, your season's over, and all of a sudden you might get a phone call.
Oh, yeah, true. And then
all the teams who are buyers, let's say, legitimate contenders in the American Association, they should be keeping an eye on that deadline day and looking to bolster their team wherever they can. I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Hawks look to really put together even more of a juggernaut of a pitching staff than they already have. And
they have the opportunity to do so. And we'll see what happens when that time frame rolls around. And we've seen this a little bit in the past when Dylan Thomas came back last year out of nowhere towards the end of the season when he was playing in Mexico. These guys, when they take these calls from Coast, they're more than ready. We saw it with Drew Ward when he got finished playing in Mexico, came back, and he's been, I think he has over 20 RBI already, and he's just got back. It feels that way.
If you look at the Red Hawks, too, just historically speaking, like, these players want to come back.
Right.
You know, Ward came back.
They love this area. They love this
Prime
team.
Came back. Yep. Like, it's such a good locker room that these players are excited to come back. They want to be a part of it again.
And the big part of that is Chris Coast.
Yeah.
I don't want to call him a recruiter at the professional level, but you're not going to find a better recruiter to play for than that guy. And he's the reason that these players keep coming back. He's the reason that these pieces keep staying in the Fargo-Moorhead area when these guys are coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious to see what happens in this back half of the season with the extra pieces that they can add and the guys that they're going to get back. The post All-Star break it always feels like it ramps up a little bit.
Turn up the heat.
Exactly, crank it up to past 10 a little bit there, to 11, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's a movie I haven't seen, but I know that's a reference.
You've never seen
Spinal Tap?
Yeah, Spinal Tap. You never seen it?
Is that a good movie?
It's fine. I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to bury anyone's favorite movie right now by saying that it's just fine.
I mean, for a lot of people, it is like their favorite movie.
Yeah, a lot of people, even in this office, quote it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
I'll tell you off the air. But yeah, no, the Red Hawks aren't the only baseball in town, obviously. We've got some Legion baseball still going strong. The big thing from this is that everybody's been on the road. Big tournaments over the past week, it seems. But they're still in action. They're just not in places that we can cover them. But they've been staying hot. Post 400, they've only lost 3 games since June 27th. One of those coming last night in a split with the Grand Forks Royals. Fargo Post 2 still looking like the top team in the state. They've only lost 2 games in July. They fell in the championship game of the Gopher Classic, which had, I don't know the exact number of teams off the top of my head, but I saw it the other day. A crazy amount of teams in it. So for them to be second out of, I think it's over 90 teams.
Wow.
It's like a big showcase event. But they're 35-4 on the season. Post 2 seems to be inevitable every year, at least as of late. West Fargo, they're going to one up everybody. They've only lost 1 time in July. This team sponsored by Carpet World. It's the same team that beat Post 2 in the. They're out of Nebraska, I want to say.
I was going to ask you. So their team name's Carpet World.
Yeah. It's like a sponsorship thing. You've never been on like a rec league team that has like a big sponsor on it as the team name? Oh, it's a common thing. I didn't have it in Alaska either, mostly because we didn't have businesses that were willing to sponsor athletics very often.
I think Carpet World's a weird name for any sports team.
I don't know if that's too hot of a take, but like I get it. But I mean, at the same time,
no offense, Carpet World, your name's kind of weird
for a baseball team. It's great for a carpet store.
It's exciting that they're sponsored.
That is good.
You know what I
We have
mean?
that
So
going
like,
for us.
I'll give that. But like,
Again, this team in like Nebraska.
what about like the Carpet World Carpet Monsters? I feel like you can do something with that.
I don't know if there's a way that you can add a mascot to a Carpet World team.
The Carpenters, the Carpet.
The Carpet Worlds.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Carpet World Travelers. You know.
Carpet World Order.
Wow.
CWO.
See, we're coming up with things. Like, they can do better. Give us a call, Carpet World.
And checking in across the river. Let's change the subject real fast. Moorhead Blues, they're on a 4-game winning streak. They beat Gillette and Renner on Sunday. They're now 19-11 on the year. They are in a tournament in Montana. I say that with a big old question mark because I briefly remember talking about it, and then now it's all memory, pal.
Okay, respect.
And then moving up back to the professional level, Joey Danielson from North Dakota State. He was the lone NDSU draft pick from the Major League Draft this year, the 17th round by the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
So joining the reigning World Series champions. He's at least going to go to the farm system. We don't know when we'll see him at the Major League level, obviously, but he had 11 saves last season, which was a career high. He finished his career with 12 saves, 11 of them coming last year. He's the second NDSU pitcher in a row in consecutive years to be taken in the Major League Draft. Cade Feeney got picked up last year by the Red Sox. And so we got a couple of pro bison pitchers in the major leagues, or at least in major league organizations. I saw some moves that Bennett Hostetler was getting moved around still in the Marlins system. So
How about it? Okay.
So there's some pro bison in the major leagues. They're just trying to work their way up to the pro level. One guy who is at the pro level, though, West Fargo's own. You mentioned a little bit earlier, Matt Strom.
Yeah.
The Phillies pitcher, he got his first All-Star nod, and he's actually the first North Dakotan to represent the state in the All-Star game since 2000. So
Wow.
it's been a little bit
Who
now.
was the last one?
Now I'm going to have to look it up. Well, don't worry, I will. Don't you worry, Adam. I'm going to do it smoothly, too, so no one will even know that I'm wasting any
Darren
time.
Erstad? Is he from?
That's a name. That is sure a name that
I
I've seen.
feel like that could be so impossibly off or just spot on.
Let's see. I'm scrolling. There we go. I found it. Darren Erstad.
No
That
way.
is correct. Good work, Adam.
Wow.
How did you know that?
I don't know.
I'm very impressed.
Where's he from?
North Dakota.
Yes.
That's as far as my research
Jamestown,
got.
maybe?
Do you want to look this up while you're here?
Okay. Was that with an I or an E?
I, yep. With
Darren
an I.
Erstad.
There he is. Darren Erstad.
All right.
And he is from
Jamestown.
Jamestown. That's fascinating. Did you do a story on him or something? How
I
did you know
try to
that?
keep a mental list of like pro players in the different sports. I don't know how I remembered this one, but I did.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, but also alarmed. More impressed, though, if it means anything. So congratulations, Adam. This is big.
Happy to be here.
Anyway, Matt Strom. Matt Strom struck out Bobby Witt Jr. in the 7th inning. That was the only pitcher or the only batter he faced, and he struck him out swinging. And then he got to go sit and watch the rest of the All-Star game. So it was a pretty great day.
That means he
Sensational
struck
day.
out every batter he faced.
Yeah, he had a 100% success rate in the All-Star game.
I'm not doing fantasy baseball this year, but I actually had him on my team last year.
Oh.
And it was just cool.
Yeah, I get that. And then because it adds an extra dimension to like tracking him. Like not only is he a North Dakota kid that you're keeping track of, but he's giving you fantasy points.
Yeah.
Or no, he would never cost you games. He's too good. So
Never.
he's just giving you points.
Yeah.
Speaking of good pitchers, last thing for me before I go ahead and get out of everybody's hair, including yours, Drew Rarick. We did a story with Drew late last week, and then some more on Monday, just about his path to the draft. He was in between 140 and 150 on the top prospects board. The pitcher out of Fargo Davies has a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, just a crazy arm talent. He ended up falling farther down in the draft than he would have liked, and in baseball, you can just say, okay, I'll see you next year. And so,
Which I love.
yeah, no,
I
it's
wish
awesome.
that like
It's
every
awesome.
pro sport kind of emulated that, because I think it just makes it where you shouldn't be locked in.
Right.
You know, if you don't get drafted, you should be able to regain your
Exactly.
rights to go do it somewhere else, do it in college, whatever the case may be.
And it gets to the point, frankly, this is just like the current world of sports now. It gets to a point when you're down the draft boards that you're going to be making less money as a 5th-round pick than you could if you have a good NIL deal somewhere.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely, that's a really good point.
And so those are the kind of factors that these kids have to think of now. And so, yeah, Drew Rarick out of Fargo Davies, he will be eventually the first Fargo Davies product to ever be picked in the Major League Draft. It's just not this year. He's going to go play in Texas. Of course, last Friday, he flipped his commitment from Texas A&M to Texas following A&M's coach, who also left A&M going to Texas. And he told us, Eric Moon had a really good conversation with him, and we have that on our website right now, valleynewslive.com, if you go to the sports tab. He said that the factor for switching was the coaching staff. He had formed a bond with the coaching staff. I was in the situation, and this is obviously not relatable because I was never going to be a professional athlete, but the coach that recruited me to Mayville State actually left right the summer before I came down.
Okay.
And so I get a call from a completely different guy. He's like, "Hey, this is Derek Schlieve. I'm going to be your new head coach." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't have a choice. I was just going. So when you get recruited by these coaches, I don't blame them for following that coach at all. And like flipping your commitment, it's easy nowadays. And so Drew doing the best decision making and some really mature decision making for a kid his age as well, to gonna go to Texas, possibly make some NIL money down there, possibly win a national championship playing baseball in the SEC, and then he's gonna go ahead and try to go into the professional level next year or in the future. So we'll see.
And I think it's cool. His dad, a former pro ball
Exactly,
player too,
yeah.
and so that's got to be just so helpful having him kind of in his corner.
Right.
And just, I feel like if more often than not, you're probably figuring it out as you go, but just having somebody with a little bit of experience to help you navigate that and make those savvy decisions, like pulling out of the draft and going to stick with the Longhorns. I think that's got to be, it's very cool, and it's also got to be very helpful.
It's an invaluable resource to be able to have. Not only is this a guy that has professional experience, but he has a pretty vested interest in your career too.
Yeah,
that's your dad.
totally,
He wants to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Like you could take advice from any former pros. Not everyone's going to have your back like your dad's going to. And so, it's been a very fun journey this summer seeing, Drew's. And that kid was throwing every day getting ready for this because he didn't know. He didn't know if he was going to get drafted or if he was going to have to go trying to earn some playing time as a freshman in a rotation down there. So he has put in the work, and he will be a Major League Baseball player. We're just waiting on when that's going to be.
Time.
Yep, exactly. And again, I just want to commend the maturity it takes to be like, because I would want to be a professional athlete right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even mature enough to pull out of the draft.
Well, you could still enter.
I do every year. Haven't gotten called yet.
No, yet.
I enter in every professional sports draft.
I'm not going to blow the secret, but I'm very excited for the story you're working on today.
Oh, yeah, no, that's going to be fun. That's one cool thing with the Legacy 18, which you can watch today on Valley News Live. It's really opened up some time for me in the middle of the week to go out and find stories and be able to tell stories and do more fun, creative things, not just stick a microphone in people's face and ask them questions, which,
this one,
while that's awesome,
I'm
this will be cool.
super excited for it. I can't wait to see it.
Well, now I'm nervous about it. I hope it comes out okay. But no, thanks for having me, Adam. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Devin. That's all for now on Checking the Score. Come back next time. We'll see you then.